Welcome back, MTN Nets podcast. Another Nets Knicks beatdown, I guess we can call it, a 13-point loss. The Nets have dropped 12 straight in the Battle of the Boroughs. We did see Noah Clowney have a career high, 31 points, and the Michael Porter Jr. streak of 20-plus point games came to an end. He had 16. Missed a lot of good looks. I feel like he should have had at least 20. So that comes to an end. The Nets fall to 3-14. And I haven't talked to you guys in about 9 games here. So it's been a while. There's a lot to catch up on. I just figured this was a good night to make a reaction because the Nets have 5 days off. They played Monday here tonight. They don't play till Friday. So, hey, at least they can have Thanksgiving with their families. They play a home game on Friday versus the Sixers. That should hopefully be a loss. Now, since Cam Thomas has left the lineup, which happened early in the game at Indiana, which was the last game I reacted to, the Nets are 3-7. Now, before that, of course, they were 0-7. They were getting posted on big sports pages being like, oh, the Nets are 0-6. Oh, the Nets are 0-7. Are they going to break that streak of 2009 starting 0-16? But no, they've bounced back. They've, as I said, it's not great winning 3 out of 10 games, but it's something. That Pacers team was very undermanned. They had like 7 guys out that game and some key starters. The win at Washington on November 16th, that was not much of a surprise. The Nets won that game by 23 points, really outclassed them. Porter Jr. had 34, 9-7 that game, and he's looked really good, honestly. Like, we'll talk about MPJ in a bit. And then, of course, that win at Boston on Friday where Jaylen Brown had 5 fouls halfway through the third quarter. Had that not happened and he stayed out of foul trouble, which, by the way, some of those fouls were very dumb on his part, like committing them in the backcourt and stuff. Had he stayed in the game, I think the Celtics end up winning that, but foul trouble is foul trouble. The Nets took advantage and they won the game. So now they're 3-14. They just lost 2 in a row here to Toronto on Sunday, and now a back-to-back here against the Knicks. Second half of a back-to-back against the Knicks, lose by 13. I do want to start with Noah Clowney, the 21-year-old in his third year. We know the story. Big hopes for last year. Did not work out. I believe he had the ankle injury as well. But this year, he's averaging a career high in a lot of categories, and of course just had his career high 31 points. And he has such a different confidence to him. I think I talked about this last time. He didn't start out the year like this. Like the first 5 games or so, it was kind of more of the same Noah Clowney. He did look different physically. He had the muscle on him, definitely gained muscle. You could tell the difference in his physique, but I think the mental part of it didn't kick in until about 5 games into the season. Because looking back, he didn't have his first double-digit scoring game until like 7 games into the year. It was the one versus Minnesota. Like his scoring outputs were 5, 5, 7, 2, 7, 0, and then he had 15, 17, 19. And started like rattling off all these big games, and tonight had his first career game over 30 points, had 31. And I think he could have played better, honestly. Like, I know it's weird to say that coming off of a career game, but there were shots that he missed, Clowney, in this game that he would usually make, more so in the interior. I feel like there were some where it was like one-handed floaters that he would usually make, but nonetheless, like, he had a great game in this one, and I love what I've seen lately. Like, he has not missed a free throw in the past 3 games, and he's now putting the ball on the floor. He had a very impressive drive against Josh Hart. I think it was Josh Hart, where he was dribbling from the top of the key, went past the right elbow. Jalen Brunson tried to reach in and get a steal. Clowney kept his handle, it was strong, and was able to basically back Josh Hart down from the top of the key and bank in a one-handed layup. So I was like very impressed with him overall, and I know he's still not a perfect player, not a finished product, but to have a guy like this who is 6'10", and once again 21 years old, to have a guy that can stretch the floor, play defense as well, which, you know, I know maybe not the greatest on-ball defender, but a help defender, a lanky defender, and obviously the confidence now. And he had that dunk in the Toronto game, I think it was, right? Yeah, he had that dunk on the center with the long last name that's tough to pronounce, and he posterized him, put him on the ground. Like, he has just had a different confidence to him. We didn't see it last year once again, like a lot of settling for threes and not putting the ball on the ground, and if he did, it was like a 2-dribble handoff thing. Now you're seeing Noah Clowney, to a degree, create some offense, and I think Noah Clowney even tried to throw an alley-oop to Daron Sharp in this game, but it was an off-ball foul on the Knicks. So we could have seen a Noah Clowney assist on an alley-oop. So he is seeing everything better. The confidence is super high. And as a 21-year-old, I know he's not a part of this draft class of 2025. So he's maybe not as exciting as a Yegor or as a Drake Powell or as, Danny Wolf or someone like that, but still crazy young. So I'm looking forward to watching how he develops the rest of this year. It's been a great start so far after a quiet first 7 games or so, but these last 10 plus games here, he's looked really good. Let's talk about Yegor Dioman. I usually go in order, but I just want to talk about some of the main players that we care about at this point. So Yegor, not his best night, of course. He was 4 of 11, 1 of 8 from 3, and there were a couple really rough misses, didn't hit the rim type misses. But I will say it's nice to see him at least developing. He's definitely not the deer in headlights that we saw back in October. I know we're still in late November here and there's a lot of season to go, but you see the growth. I mean, he's had games now of 16 points, 12 points, 12 points, 9 points tonight, and once again, not his best game, but he did make some impressive passes. He had one pass tonight where it was a fast break. It honestly, hate to make that comparison, and he was actually the answer of that Yes Network game they play at halftime when you try and guess the jump shots of players, then they have them what's the word? Like they have their body blacked out. If you watch ES, you know what I'm talking about. But Jason Kidd is who I'm talking about. It was a very Jason Kidd-esque pass that Yegor Dioman pulled off tonight. Dribbling, middle of the floor, like a 3-on-2 break, and he saw a trailer, and I forget who it was now, but he saw the trailer and basically just left the ball behind his back, and I forget if it resulted in a foul that ended in 2 free throws. I forget what happened on this play now, but point is, it was a really impressive pass and just great court vision, and he had one where he was driving hard to the left block, got stuck in the air, which is probably not ideal. You don't want to leave your feet and not know where to go with the ball, but he did make a really nice pass to a cutter. And once again, I forget who it was, but I think that also led to free throws or either a made or missed layup. But point is, he found the guy, he made the right read and things like that. So even though the shooting wasn't great tonight, I still liked what I saw from a point guard standpoint. I still think there were times in this game and even other games where I wish Yegor would take it to the rim. I see him against Brunson. He has the size and maybe not the weight, but definitely has the height. I'm just go at him. What's the worst that can happen here? And he wasn't doing it, so that was annoying. And hopefully as time goes on, he'll get better at it. But you do see a player growing and developing. The Nets have been playing him more lately. He went from 18 minutes, 20 minutes to 23. Now the past 3 games, it's been 29, 28, and 28 minutes. So right around that, high 20s mark in minutes the past 3 games. He'll hopefully get to the low 30s at some point this year. And while it's sometimes frustrating to see him not drive the ball or miss a jump shot by a mile, I mean, these are kind of the growing pains with a 19-year-old who in a couple years is going to have a different body. Look at Noah Clowney, right? So I do want to see what he looks like in 2026, 27, 28, and see where we go from there. But I feel like for now, you're at least seeing, he's a very self-aware player. When you hear the post-game interviews, he knows what he's not doing well, knows what he has to get better at. And I think once he gets bigger physically and more confident in his body and gets his body more on par with these other NBA players, because playing at 19, it's so crazy to be playing against these grown men. But once he gets older, I think he has a role to be a really good player. I don't know if he'll be a superstar player. I don't really want to talk ceiling, but I think Yegor can definitely be a really good number 2 at the worst. So that's what I'm hoping for. And if he's any better, that's tremendous. But I think, and maybe the Nets' plan, I've heard people say this, is that they drafted a bunch of guys that can be really good role players in this past draft with the 5 draft picks, and maybe they're hoping that their superstar player can be found in this upcoming draft, whether it's DeBansta or Boozer or Peterson, whoever, and hopefully that happens. But we'll find out once the lottery balls are drawn. But you don't want to put your hopes into the lottery, because even if the Nets did the correct thing and tanked and had the worst record this year, there's still a chance they might draft 4th or 5th overall, which it's still a great draft. But I just don't want to put my faith in the lottery like last year and end up picking 8th overall. So that would not be ideal. Other rookie I want to talk about, because the other 3 don't play, Drake Powell coming off the bench. He played 24 minutes tonight, And he definitely looked good tonight. Like out of him and Yegor, I think Powell played a much better game. 15 points on 5 of 10. He had a couple grenades. I think a couple of these misses were not really his fault. Like he bricked 2 3-pointers that were like end of the shot clock. So I don't really want to hold that against him. But 15 points and really nice dribbling on the interior. Like I think even Sarah Kustok pointed that out, or maybe Ruka, one of them, was saying he did a great job of dribbling in traffic. And there was a play late in the game. I think the game was out of reach by this point, but it was still great to see our 19-year-old rookie or 20-year-old rookie dribbling through traffic and not getting the ball taken from him and being confident and just getting in his spots. We saw this, of course, with Kevin Durant when he was in that. Like, just get to his spots on the elbow, rise up and make your jumper. And we see Powell do this. Like, he has the way Powell moves, I think I've said this before, reminds me a lot of Karis LeVert. Like, he has very odd movement skills, Drake Powell, but he finds ways to just be shifty and get open. And it's tough to stay in front of a guy like that where, like, you don't know what is coming next because the way he moves is just not like other guys. I think the jump shot, it still looks ugly. Now, I don't want to think that's the end-all be-all or be-all end-all because, you know, there's guys that have ugly-looking jump shots that end up working and they go in, but when you watch Drake Powell shoot, it's like, ugh, I just don't love it. So I'm not sure if that's ever going to change, but even this month, he's shooting 40% from 3, and on the season, it's also 40%. So, I mean, the shot is going in, but it doesn't look good. Like, it's just one of those 3-point shots where it's just not one of those like aesthetically pleasing or something like that. So yeah, I don't know if it'll get better, and that just is who he is and how he's going to shoot. But if it goes in, it goes in. So I'll take that. And as I said, with the dribbling, he has the ability to get to his spots and get to the rim. And we've seen him now attack the rim, try to dunk on some guys. He had 1-and-1 dunk a couple games ago. I forget who it was against now. But he's another guy where you see the confidence and the defense. We got to talk about the defense with Powell. I don't know how I almost like glossed over that. But the defense with Powell is super impressive. And he's built. Like I saw a camera angle with him today where they were looking at Drake Powell from behind, and you could just see this guy's shoulders. Like, he is, like, pretty ripped, you know? Like, you don't look at Drake Powell and think, like, oh, that guy is shredded. But, like, when they showed a close-up camera angle, once again, the guy is barely 20 years old. It's like, whoa. So when he has that kind of physical ability and has that strength to him, I mean, it can end up being a great player. Like, I think Drake Powell is going to be a very good rotation player in this league. I don't know what the ceiling is and how high it can be, but if he's dribbling like this and getting to his spots and has that mid-range game, like, but then once again, you look at that jump shot and it's like, I don't know. So yeah, it's kind of like not the best looking once again, but it's going in right now, so I can't complain too much. I'm looking now, very weird that Zaire Williams had a DMP coach's decision. I wonder if he was like sick or something. I don't think that's happened before, right? I don't think so. So I don't know, maybe something was up there. Maybe it actually was a coach's decision. Like even in garbage time, they didn't play Zaire Williams, so that was odd. As I said with Porter Jr., not his night, but I do want to talk about him in recent games. Super impressive closeout for him on last Friday's game at Boston. Like he won that game for them in the final 5 minutes. He really took over. Everyone in the arena is thinking this is Jaylen Brown's time to shine. Like the Nets have nobody, and then Porter Jr. comes out there and like just took over once again, made some crazy shots. I mean, the shot making is insane for this guy. I mean, I know he's like 6'10" and can rise over anybody, but when you're in his face, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like up to Michael Porter Jr. whether he misses it or makes it. Like there's sometimes nothing you can do defensively. And especially with Cam Thomas out of the lineup, he's had some monster scoring nights of 28, 34, 33, 32, another 32, a 31 back in the second game of the year. And he told us in the offseason, he was like, hey, like, I'm going to show people, like, what my full abilities are. And I think a lot of people, and even myself included to a degree, had that viewpoint of Porter Jr. thinking, like, oh, this guy's just a Nikola Jokic merchant because Jokic, of course, has great court vision and has so much gravity. And you're thinking, oh, Porter Jr. just benefited from that, which he did. But we also didn't know that he had this to his game. Like, even averaging over 3 assists, like, that's not his game. But now that the ball's in his hands more, he's doing it. And he's basically averaging 25 points per game at this point, which is top 20 in the league. So no, he's not going to win a scoring title, but to find the 6'10 guy that can shoot the way he does and is durable, which is surprising because of all the back issues coming out of college and even early in his NBA career, and especially seeing the way that Cam Johnson has been playing, which last time I checked, he's looked awful. Like, Cam Johnson is shooting 33% from 3, 9 points per game, 43% from the field. Like, you compare that to last year's numbers and he looks like a completely different player. So I don't know if it's a mental thing. It probably is. He's only 29. I don't think he's washed, but at least for the Nuggets' sake, he's been healthy so far. But it's just crazy to see like how much better MPJ has been. Like, I think some people, and I think myself included as well, I believe I said this in the offseason, thought that Michael Porter Jr. may have been a little bit of a better player than Cam Johnson, but I did not think the gap would be this wide. And I don't think by the end of the year it's going to be this wide. I do think at some point Porter Jr. might slow down a bit and Cam Johnson will start to, regress towards his averages. But as of now, in late November, once again, it's like, whoa, well, Cam Johnson looks awful and Porter Jr. has really been impressive. So I like what I've seen so far. Of course, there are defensive breakdowns and I guess he's been better with the ball in his hands than I expected, but he's still never going to be a great play creator. I mean, we've seen some instances of it, but once again, averaging a little over 3 assists per game, nothing elite. But I think there's a valuable role for a guy like him on pretty much any team. So I think at some point he may be a trade piece. We'll see if that happens, whether it's this year, could be in the summer, could be next year, I don't know. But I think he'll finish out the year in a Nets uniform. But the sport's crazy and you never know. Like, maybe it's a guy gets injured on a team and they have a bunch of cap space and they could figure it out. So I don't want to say it's not going to happen this trade deadline, but we'll see. Nick Claxton, I definitely want to give him a shout out. He's looked really good this year. This was not his best game. Got to give Karl Towns credit. He played really well, but Nick Claxton has definitely looked really good this year. Had his first career triple-double in the win at Boston on Friday. Like, just hearing Nick Claxton and triple-double in the same sentence as compared to the guy we saw last year, it just shows you the night and day difference. So I'm happy for Claxton. I don't think he's been like fully healthy the past couple years is what I'm thinking could have been the issue, but this year at least he looks healthy, he looks really good, and once again tonight not his best game, but before that he was on a tear. Like the month of November up until the last win at Boston, because he's been slower the past 2 games once again, but there was like a 9-10 game stretch from early November to November 21st where Claxton was easily getting in the high teens, low 20s in points, making his foul shots at a pretty high rate, which you do not see. And even today, like, he knocked down a mid-range jumper. He'll never be a consistent jump shooter, but he can do it. Like, the jump shot doesn't look too bad. His free throw shooting, like his mechanics, I guess, look a little different. I feel like he's maybe holding the ball a bit differently, but he does look better at the foul line at least. I'm looking now. So yeah, he's shooting 69.9% at the line coming into this game, and last year it was 51%. So 69% this year, a career 55% free throw shooter. So whatever mechanical adjustments were made to Nick Claxton, like, I'm not a shot doctor, I don't know exactly what it is, but you can tell from the way he shot free throws the first 6 years to how he's shooting this year, it looks a little different. So whatever that is, he's doing it right. Who else do we want to talk about? I mean, Terrence Mann, not much to say. I mean, we talked about him in the last couple videos. He just is what he is. He's an NBA, I don't want to say journeyman, but you just know what you're getting into. Jalen Wilson played a bit tonight, made a couple threes. Day'Ron Sharpe, I guess, had a couple decent moments. But Day'Ron is who he is. I mean, I think there was a debate the past couple years of should Day'Ron start over Nick Claxton. There were definitely people in the Nets fan base that thought that. I don't think I was ever there personally. I mean, look, there were times I was frustrated with Claxton because he looked so great in the first half of 2022, 2023. And then, of course, the Nets traded their superstars, and he didn't look the same after, which is understandable because Claxton's a guy that's going to thrive off of who's playing around him. But for Day'Ron, I mean, it hasn't looked amazing this year. You still see some of the same mistakes, the dumb offensive fouls and just the limited offensive game, not the best touch around the rim. But he'll still have his spark plays. He'll get his offensive rebounds that not many other players are going to get, and he's still a decent shooter. And when you can rebound like that, you're going to have a role in this league. So he's, once again, he is what he is. Tyrese Martin I want to talk about. Tyrese Martin's 26 years old. I don't love seeing him play so many minutes because I would love for Nolan Traore to get these minutes, even Ben Saraf, who I'm really not that high on, but I don't know why Tyrese Martin plays so much. I understand that he's played well recently. He's pretty inconsistent, but he's had games, 26 points against the Raptors Sunday, 20 points in the Washington win, 16 points in the Pacers win. Like, he's stepped up with Cam Thomas being out, and I think on the broadcast he said he wasn't right mentally the first few games or something, so he's looked better, but I feel like we shouldn't be wasting too much time on trying to develop Tyrese Martin, who I don't think will be on this team in 2 years, when you have guys like Traore and Saraf who are 19 years old, and you could be giving those minutes to those guys. So I don't know. It's just, I guess it is what it is. We're still very early in the season, and I think by some point this will correct itself, and we're going to see Traore play more and not see Tyrese Martin play so much, but it's still like frustrating to see it, so I don't know. That was pretty much it though. I think I covered everybody. We haven't seen too much of Wolf or Traore or Saraf, and it's still annoying. Like, I want to see these guys play. You're freaking 3-14. Can we stop being so try hard around here? And like, winning against the Knicks is the one of the few games I want to win throughout the year. So it was very odd to me when Jalen Wilson had that and won in the, I think, early fourth quarter. It was called an offensive foul on Jalen Wilson. He makes the shot, and on the replay, the guy, who is the little white dude on the Knicks, I don't know his name. It must be this Pacome Dadier. I don't even know who the hell this is. But yeah, I think it was him. And he took a charge, but he was kind of moving. He wasn't totally set, and I feel like 99% of the time, Jordi Fernandez is going to challenge this. And the crazy part is, he called timeout, but didn't challenge it. And I'm like, why not? Like, I think the Nets went this entire game without using their challenge, and that was a big pivotal point in the game. Like, that's a 3-point swing and possession, right? So if you get that overturned, you get the and one. Jalen Wilson probably shoots somewhere in the high 70% range, gonna make the free throw in all likelihood. Like, that's a 3-point swing, and I think it was like a 10 to 12 point game at that time in the early fourth quarter. So I'm like, the one time I want Jordi Fernandez to actually challenge to help this team win, he doesn't do it. I'm like, what the hell is up with that? And then on top of it, to once again call a timeout and just not challenge it, it was very odd. So I'm not sure why Jordi did that, but whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, coming up for this team, as I said, versus the Sixers at home Friday. I think they've been a good team this year. At Milwaukee Saturday. I know Giannis was out. I'm not sure if he's back yet. It seems like Giannis is close to playing, so I would think by next week he'll be out there, but no guarantee. I hope he is, of course. They're playing home versus Charlotte on Monday. It's kind of scary. I mean, Charlotte's hit or miss, kind of in the same spot we are, except they have like a lot of young talent. Colin Kneppel, by the way, I don't know where I was on him. I forget. I've definitely had the take of like calling him a supercharged Joe Harris, but he's definitely more than Joe Harris. I feel like he definitely is. It's not even like a question at this point. But the thing is, I never went into last year thinking like, when you have Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper and Cooper Flagg, obviously, I did not go into last year thinking like, man, I really want Colin Kneppel. That never crossed my mind. But I think it was pretty well known that he was going to be a very solid starting NBA player, but he might be better than that. I figured he'd be like a number 3 or a 4 on a very good team, but he might be like a number 2 on a very good team, or a minimum of 3. So yeah, so far for the Hornets, that looks like a big hit. They got some shit teams coming up, the Nets. At Chicago, I think they're fine this year. They're 9-8. Okay, solid. But after that, it's tanking corner. We have home versus Utah, home versus New Orleans. That is very scary. So I think by December 6th, which is the game after Utah and New Orleans, we're going to find out a lot about where this team is at in terms of like how serious they want to take the tank, because you'll see a team like Utah rest some completely healthy players and have no shame about it, which, you know, hats off to them for actually doing the right thing. And you know, this Nets team and the way they move, they're going to go all out to win those games, which is going to annoy the crap out of me. I could already tell. But I guess it's something we have to deal with. So we'll find out how those games go. I'm not sure when my next reaction's going to be. It's been busy lately. I've been getting ready to move. I'm going to have a different location, different background soon, so you'll notice that. But yeah, we'll get back to it at some point. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully teams that are in front of us in the tank standings like Indiana, New Orleans, and Washington get their crap together and start winning games, and I will talk to you next time.